and welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today I am making a soap using this fragrance from Unscented. It's called Peppermint Mocha. Oh, it smells good. And now I know that this is probably in the Christmas category of fragrances, but come on, I think it smells great all year round. And I was just over in my fragrance shelf sniffing them, and this one, I'm like, you know what, I've got to do it. It smells so good. And you know, like Andy's candies, those thin chocolatey mints, hello, so good. I mean, and who doesn't like peppermint mocha in their coffee? And I just think it's fabulous. So that's the fragrance. This does discolor. It's a foodie fragrance. It's got a lot of the vanillin in there. It says it discolors to dark brown. So that's the mocha portion. And to help that along and to keep it a nice even brown color, I'm going to be using my organic cacao powder, which is cocoa powder, but this, you know, it sounds fancy, cacao powder. I think is fabulous in soap as a colorant, and it has vitamins and antioxidants and all that, and it's going in the soap, so this bar will get you clean. But it's going to have a little bit, just a little of the cocoa powder in the mocha portion, which I will be fragrancing. I'm going to save off just a little bit of the soap batter unfragranced because of the vanillin, so that I can do a little bit of a swirl to represent the peppermint part. And I thought I got this Harlequin Shimmer Mica from Rustic Essentials. Isn't that pretty? So, and this does have a little bit of a turquoisey thing, but I don't know, it looked really good, and it kind of went with the scent as I'm sitting here sniffing and looking back at my shelf back there. So that's the green I'm going to use. So I will pour, the base will be the mocha, and I'll save off a little batter and do a little swirl on top with the green. And so it will represent the peppermint and the mocha. And this is not a Christmas soap I'm making today. It's just, I don't know, it's a great fragrance. Who doesn't like peppermint mocha? I shouldn't say that. I bet there's people out there that don't like peppermint mocha. So with all that being said, I am going to pull everything together and get it all set up and ready to go, and we will come back and make some not Christmas peppermint mocha soap. All right, it's time to get our soap additives in the oils here, and this is going to be a goat milk soap today because it's kind of a foodie fragrance, which I just love, and I thought goat milk went along perfectly with the theme today. So we'll get that in. This is the milk in oil method. If you've watched any of my videos, you've probably seen me do this a lot. This is how I prefer to do milk soaps. It's just so easy, and I love it. And now I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of colloidal oats and 2 tablespoons of my kaolin clay. Those are my favorite soap additives. I just absolutely love how it feels in the finished bar, in the lather, and that is why I add those in there. So let me get this all blended up, and then we will come back when the lye solution is cooled and it's time to make some soap. Back, and I have my fragrance off to the side to add after I pour off my little bit I'm going to save out, and oh my goodness, it smells good in the studio today. Oh man, this fragrance is right up my alley. So let's go ahead and add in the lye solution here, and I'm going to get this up to a good emulsion and split off. Now, whoops, there we go, drop my spatula in. Awesome. Let me try and do this without dripping. Okay, so cocoa powder can speed things along a little bit. It's one of those additives like titanium dioxide can speed up trace. Not bad, but you know, it's something to note. So I'm hoping that I can get the base color with the fragrance poured down, and it will firm up a little so that when I come in and do the swirl on top, it won't break through all the way. I want the colors to remain on top. That's the goal. So let's see how everything behaves here, because it sure smells dynamite, I tell you what. All right, we've got emulsion. We're going to split off for our color or our unscented portions. And I do have a little TD in here just to keep things on the brighter side for that swirl. I really want it to stand out. All right, I'm going to set these off to the side, and now in comes our cacao powder, and our fragrance will get blended into the majority of this batter. And again, because this fragrance is going to discolor, I don't need a ton of cocoa, a little baby spoon. I'm going to put a couple of these in here. So that's probably equivalent to I'm going to call it a tablespoon. That's what I'm calling that. And we'll go ahead and add our fragrance in here and get this all blended up. The next day, and it's been about 24 hours, and I'm so happy with the colors and how this came out. Very excited to get in here and see how that swirls. So when I put my hanger tool down in, I only went about the top third way to swirl. I wanted to pick up just a little bit of that brown and swirl it. So I can't wait to get in here and see if how it worked out. You know, there's only one way to find out. Let's get in here. With the lovely Olga, and I can't wait to cut in here and see how the swirls came out. And you can see the edge there, that dark rim, that is how it's going to discolor. So this is indeed going to be a nice chocolatey brown. So I'm anxious to see about those swirls. Let's see how they came out on the inside. Oh, cool. That's what I wanted. It just swirled down a little bit. And yeah, you can see the rim where it's going to darken up. And I'm glad I put the cocoa powder in there so it's a nice even tone. It won't be blotchy after it turns. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, I like the kind of half swirled down. And hopefully the fragrance won't migrate into the unfragranced portion and discolor it. I want that to stay bright and stand out like that. I'm happy. I think these are great. And they do kind of remind me of those Andy Candies, chocolate mints, you know. I don't even know if they still make those or not. I don't buy candy anymore, so I'm not really sure. And this is an interesting thing. Let me see if you can see it. I have a little bit of, I have a little bit of glycerin rivers in the titanium dioxide portion. And that's not surprising. TD can aid to that, and then because it was mixed in water and I just did a little of the soap batter, so it was a full water usage rate in the unscented portion. So I'm not surprised by that. It looks kind of cool. I'm really happy with how the top swirls came out. This is one way to handle with the discoloring fragrance, is to just do a small portion unfragranced just so that it won't discolor. Let's keep cutting. Okay, next loaf. And here you can see the glycerin rivers in the white portion just a little. I think it's kind of pretty. Kind of looks like cracked glass. It's a neat effect, actually. So I wanted to talk about this fragrance. It did something that I have had happen a couple of times before, but not very frequently, and that is a scent morph. And I'll explain to you what that is. It smells great out of the bottle, and as soon as the lye hit this fragrance, it did not smell very good. It was a combination of the goat milk and the fragrance. It just triggered something, and it kind of smelled like plastic pudding. I don't know how else to describe it, but thankfully today, as the saponification is going on and it's doing its chemical reaction, the scent is bouncing back. So when it hit the lye, I lost all the mint notes, and it just got this sort of plastic pudding. I don't know how else to describe it. It was not good. And I was I'm like, oh no, I really hope this fragrance bounces back, because it was not a pretty smell. And today, as I'm cutting this, the blossoming of the actual fragrance is coming through again. I'm really happy to report that. So, and I've had that happen a couple of times, where the fragrance out of the bottle turns out to be very different than the fragrance in the soap. It's not super common, but it does occasionally happen. This one is bouncing back, thank goodness. So happy to report that. And it behaved really well. I tell you what, this fragrance had no acceleration. Obviously the discoloration, which when you have a high vanillin content, you already know that's going to happen. But it behaved really well as far as, you know, not speeding up, not ricing, not separating. All of that was good. And I'm glad the scent is coming back. All right, last loaf. This was fun to make. And so even with the cocoa butter and the, sorry, not the cocoa butter, I always put cocoa butter. Even with the cocoa powder and the goat milk in here, I did put a blanket over this last night. It did go through gel phase, because that is how I like to do my soaps. I am a geller, and I did not have any overheating issues at all. So no problems there. I did come down and check on it just to make sure. Anytime I have a couple of things that can make a soap get hot, and this does have the sugar in it, so all was good. Now my soap studio runs about 63 to 65 degrees. It's relatively cool. I prefer to work in a cooler environment. And so when I put a blanket over something, it's not like I'm in an 80-degree house, you know what I'm saying? So look at that dark chocolate color. I'm very excited about the color change that's going to happen. So I will probably hold off doing photography on these bars for at least several days to a week and let it fully develop that rich brown color before I take the final photos, because I think that's lovely. Well, all that being said, I appreciate you taking the time to join me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It means a lot, and I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, it is time to bevel and stamp these bars, and after I cut these, I walked away, and they've sat for about 36 hours. And this is the nice dark color that they are. It may deepen just a little bit more, but I'm so happy. That is such a gorgeous chocolate brown, and it really makes the upper colors pop. Super happy with that. So I'm going to get this beveled up. And I also wanted to say that this fragrance has now fully bounced back to where I can smell the minty over notes and just the mocha, and it's gotten really nice. So the offsetting fragrance morph has completely reversed back to the original lovely scent. So happy about that. So here is my stamp. I get asked a lot. I got this from Digital to Create. There's a link down below. In most of my videos, there's a link for this stamp, the maker of it, and I love it. I've had it for years, and it is a custom size. I sent him my logo. This is a hard plastic resin mounted on wood, and it's a little bit deeper than a normal stamp so that it makes a clean impression on your soap bars. I take 99% isopropyl alcohol and I spritz my stamp with it, and that helps it release, and then the alcohol just evaporates off and doesn't leave a trace on there. But it keeps it from getting sticky in the soap or getting stuck in the soap. I give it a tap with my rubber mallet and I get a nice clean impression. You can see a little bit of what that will probably continue to darken over the next several days. But I think we are pretty close to the original, or to the end color here, which I think is beautiful. It really makes that top part pop.